We are back in New York City, and this time around I have invited two special guests, Coco and Breezy. These young women are twins and eyewear designers, and their glasses have graced the faces of Beyonce, Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Nicki Minaj, Kelly Osbourne. Hello, the list keeps going. Their story is inspiring. It's the complete definition of shameless, fearless, and we're gonna get into it after our OOTD. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the very end because we're gonna have an international giveaway. For those of my viewers that don't know who you ladies are, explain yourself.
So I'm Coco.
And I'm Breezy, and we're Coco and Breezy. We're founders of Coco and Breezy Eyewear. We're originally from Minnesota, but we've been in New York since 2009, and we were those girls that at 19 years old, we quit our jobs, we sold our car, moved to New York with the all-American dream, with like no money, the idea of sunglasses, and just like faith and passion. And we've been having our business, doing it full-time for 4 years now.
Now, I know the story behind your glasses, and I think it's very shameless. Share that with the viewers.
It definitely is very shameless. Well, when we were younger, we grew up being bullied because we were always different. With us being different, we didn't use that as a negativity. We turned like us being different and being bullied into a positive. And our positive energy was sunglasses. That was our escape. We would wear sunglasses to escape from people bullying us.
And so before we actually started designing the sunglasses, we would always wear the sunglasses. And sunglasses gave us this like level of confidence that we never had. Like we felt like we were the queens of the world. But once we took our sunglasses off, it was a level of insecurity that we felt like torn apart from people making fun of us, from staring at us, for us being comfortable of being individuals. And so when I had the idea, we were sitting on our mom's living room floor. I created the first pair of Coco and Breezy sunglasses, and I told Coco like this could be a business. We actually went to New York for 2 weeks just to visit.
And we were like, our glasses are gonna be a hit. We're gonna move to New York, you know? 2 weeks later, we're like, Mom and Dad, we have to move there. There's no way that our brand is gonna grow here because all the resources were in New York.
What year was this?
2009. We were 19 years old.
Right, okay.
And so we did it. We quit our jobs, we sold our car, we sold clothes at like Buffalo Exchange, tried to get up all the money that we could. We bought our plane tickets. Everyone thought we were crazy, and we were crazy. But you have to be crazy enough. We didn't feel like we were crazy, but you have to be crazy enough to think that you can change the world. And we were so crazy, and we just like were unstoppable, and we just went for it.
Yeah.
And was that a process? How did you guys work towards, I guess, turning this into a business and just putting yourself out there? Because you guys use MySpace.
Well, so what happened was when we first started I would say when we were about 15 years old, we were always into like our own fashion styles. We were like, okay, cool, we're gonna post pictures of us with our cool outfits on, and we started building a following.
Yeah.
So on MySpace, we were like those girls that worked the mall, but we had a whole bunch of followers for no reason. We can't have a huge following and not utilize them as customers. So we were like, you know what, this is the right time. We have a following.
We created brand equity because all the people that have been following us since MySpace, they've seen our growth. Because we've been real about our whole journey, and they feel like they're a part of the brand.
For us, with our social media, the reason why we have a following is because we are real with our stories. I think that social media sometimes, people kind of fabricate.
But you only show like one side.
And they only show one side. We show both sides. We show the struggle and we show the accomplishment.
What advice do you guys have for young women that are artists, that are entrepreneurs, that are afraid to put themselves out there?
It's just do it. If you simply just have an idea to do something that feels not normal, we would say just go for it. I think a lot of people, like a lot of parents, family, friends don't support the art field. And so if you don't have their support, the number one thing is that you have your own support. You should be your number one fan.
And also, too, you can't be afraid of a no. Not everything's going to work, but at least if you attempt it, then you made it 100%. You know what to move on to the next.
It's a certain mindset that you have to have. You have to have the mindset and the strength to sacrifice. Because when we first moved to New York, we lived in a small box, the size of
small box room. Our room was so small.
It was the size of an air mattress.
And the crazy part about it is that we had like a king size, or it was like queen size air mattress. Our room was that size.
Then we had to like scooch against the wall.
And we made our Nicki Minaj glasses on that air mattress, and our air mattress pop. One thing I always say is that something else that's important is save your money and put it back into your business.
Right.
And one thing that I always tell people as well is that if you have a full-time job, you want to start your own thing, save that, and at least put half to go towards your new goal that you have, and use the rest on your regular finances. I think that's like very important too.
But just remember, like, you have to start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Every successful person has started from the bottom.
This is true.
And I think a lot of people, they get embarrassed with their struggle, when really that's part of the story.
That's something you should flaunt.
I always say, I'm like, that's part of the memoirs.
It is.
Like when I first moved, there was nothing glamorous about the roaches.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, now it's kind of funny, like when I look back at it, but at the time I'm like, this is awful.
Exactly.
But you do what you gotta do to get where
you want to
need
be
to
in
go.
New York, so
exactly.
Like, you're gonna have your high periods, and then once you get to your low periods, don't freak out, don't get depressed.
That's when you take time out to figure out how can you get over that hump and figure out what can you do next to improve what didn't work last time.
And so you like go back to the drawing board.
Right. So you guys have a very interesting and unique look. How do you guys deal with ignorant comments, ignorant people?
Look at it as a positive.
Yeah.
And as hurtful as it can be, a lot of people, when they hate on you, it's because they're intimidated.
Right.
And they just don't understand you, or they don't care to even take the time to understand you.
I just feel bad for them because it's like, you could be so productive if you just focus all that energy that you're using on me, on yourself.
Exactly. When we were younger, we actually used to get very offended. We used to get very sad, very defensive. Now it's like, you know what? We're confident with who we are. And if someone wants to have their own opinion, that's their opinion. You can't let someone else's opinion affect you because you know it's not a fact. And also, too, like, if you're a visionary, you have to know that people aren't going to agree with what you do or how you look. And so there are going to be people that aren't on a mind level as you. They're not going to understand you. And I can say, like, in the beginning of our career, we used to cry whenever like, people, like, made fun of us. That's with social media. Like, it's hurtful to see, like, the mean comments.
Right.
But we learned to either just ignore them or just to use it as motivation.
Right.
Because sometimes people will hate on you and really they love you.
Right.
And they're just trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
And so it's like
they're obsessed. They're still watching.
Yeah, exactly. You have to just love yourself.
Right.
Exactly.
These lovelies are going to do a giveaway.
So it's our Coco and Breezy art collection. It's another side of our Coco and Breezy brand.
Right.
And it's all of our artwork on our t-shirts, and we have tote bags.
And what do you have to do to enter?
Take a picture of what your art is. Pretty much anything that makes you happy. Post a picture on Instagram and make sure you hashtag I am Shameless Art.
And I also want to do a giveaway here on YouTube. All you got to do is comment below with the hashtag I am Shameless Art and tell me how you guys stay creative. And then for more information, read the description box. And you have to make sure you're following us. So they're Coco and Breezy, Maya's World, International. And we'll hold it for like a week?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got 1 week to get your free goodies. Oh, and then did you guys want to do like a promo code?
Yes. Especially for Maya's favorite people watching. We're going to give you guys 15% off of our website. And the promo code will be Shameless.
So use that if you want to cop these fierce glasses, designer. Okay, that's it, guys. Remember to
do you, be you,
and stay true. Be shameless.